Getting your sugar delivered is imperative if you want to keep your sugar levels within the normal range. A failure to do this is at the heart of metabolic issues. Now, a lot of the time, insulin is blamed. He's not there. Or he's there, but the cells he's meant to whip into shape don't care. So, who's insulin meant to whip into shape? Well, insulin is in charge of sugar deliveries to the liver, muscle, and fat cells. Of the three, muscles are the biggest sugar users. It's estimated that around 80% of the sugar you munch on should find its way into the muscles. So what your muscles are doing matters. Unfortunately, if you're sitting on the couch, they're not doing much and often are not in the mood for a sugar delivery, which becomes a problem because the sugar has to go somewhere. Fat cells are the next option until they become bolshy, and then all hell breaks loose. We call this insulin resistance, and if it goes on long enough, it brings on a health crisis. So now you understand why health gurus are always banging on about moving more. They know an active muscle will help clear the sugar, and people with metabolic issues typically don't have enough active muscle. The move more advice is standard health advice, and it's good advice, but sometimes it's not practical. There are a myriad of reasons why moving more can be challenging. You're frail, you're broken, you're snowed under, you're snowed in. So can you hack the Move More story a little? Join us for this episode of Better Body Chemistry TV as we look at a low-cost, safe hack you can use to get the benefits of exercise without moving more. Better Body Chemistry TV is brought to you by Dr. Sandy, a scientist turned gremlin buster, helping you battle sugar gremlins, heifer lumps, and other health horribles through better body chemistry. Remember, small things can make a big difference to your health. Now, hacking moving more is not a new concept. Electrical wiggles and cooking your muscle in a sauna can both activate a muscle, improving sugar delivery. The catch, they require specialized equipment, and that requires money and time, both of which can be in short supply. Aish. No worries. A team from Liverpool have described a way to hack the biology of exercise without the need for any special equipment, and it takes a lot less time. You do need something, but odds are you have access to these items. So, what do you need? Well, you need a room, you need a heater, and an hour, 3 times a week. Don't let the 3 hours put you off. You can do something constructive in those hours. The only limitation, whatever you do, must be done in the hot room. Your hands and brain are free to do whatever. Let me explain. I'll start with the experiment and then explain the biology. So what these dudes did was they took 20 young male couch potatoes and put them to work for 3 hours a week for 6 weeks. Now, half of their volunteers really did have to work. They had to push the pedals on a bike, wheeling along at 65% VO2 max for 50 minutes. This would be considered moderate intensity exercise. The other lot just sat around for 50 minutes. But the room they sat around in was hot. The researchers had turned a heater on in a small room and allowed it to heat the room to 40 degrees Celsius. They kept it at this temperature for the 50 minutes, maintaining the humidity at 40%. So these guys were hot, but not sauna hot. You could say they were enjoying a tropical jungle experience, minus the jungle. Now, Since this was an experiment, measurements were made. The team specifically looked at what happened to their vastus lateralis muscle, alongside their body's ability to handle sugar, before and after the 6 weeks of training. Now, both sets of muscles had more capillaries following the training. This can be seen here if you're thinking, so what? Well, more blood vessels means oxygen delivery to the muscle is improved. And since when muscles run out of oxygen, their get up and go leaves, more blood vessels allow muscles to go for longer. That is, they're fitter. The actual improvements in capillary density clocked in at 11% for the guys cycling and 21% for the guys just sitting. Yes, the sitting guys actually had more blood vessels. How could this be? Well, when muscles get hot, they make everyone in their immediate vicinity hot too. Basically, they act like hot water bottles. Now, this means hot muscles make cells in the blood hot too. And these guys make the brain hot. Now, brain cells are rulers, and as such, they can tell the rest of the body what to do. Hot neurons arrange for the body's air conditioner to be turned on. More and more blood is diverted to the body's surface. At the body's surface, a heat exchange process transfers the heat from the inside outward. You're red, hot, and sweaty on the outside, but the cells deep inside are cool as cucumbers. Well, sort of. It turns out cooling off in a hot room is a little bit harder to do. The difficulty arises because the difference between the outside and the inside is not so big. So this requires blood flow inside to be ramped up a notch. Instructions are given to maximize blood flow and install more blood vessels. It doesn't happen overnight, but 6 weeks later, capillary density has increased. A little for exercising muscles, a little bit more for muscles sitting in a hot room doing nothing. So, does it make a difference? Yes. More blood vessels mean better deliveries, period. This translates into a fitter you. In this particular study, the VO2 max, which is a way of quantifying fitness, increased in both groups. For the cyclists, the increase clocked in at a 7% improvement, while for the hot sitters, it was marginally less, clocking in at 6%. The difference between the two groups is probably a reflection of the fact that the exercisers not only got more blood vessels, they also got more muscle. So hot sitting is not quite the same as real physical activity. But is it enough to improve sugar deliveries? Well, since oxygen is not the only item delivered by blood vessels, more blood vessels allow for better delivery of everything else. And this includes sugar. The team confirmed there was better sugar deliveries to the muscle. The improvement to the hot sitters is smaller than to the cyclists, but there is an improvement. To put some numbers on the improvement, the percentage decrease in glucose under the curve levels, which is a reflection of overall response to glucose, was 18% lower in the cyclists and 7% in the hot sitters. Don't be fooled by the smallness of the improvement. Remember, these guys weren't in trouble to begin with, so we're not expecting huge improvements. An extra 7% could be all that it takes for sugar deliveries to fall into the normal range. The point is, insulin resistance is at its core a delivery problem. Insulin is not being delivered efficiently, and so sugar is not being taken up optimally either. By spending an hour or so in a hot room a couple of times a week, you can improve deliveries. Now, an hour or so of hot won't feel fabulous in the moment, but it's not a high-risk activity, and it's something that is doable for most people. Just make sure if you do it, you're adequately hydrated. If you're having delivery problems, give it a try. It will help you create better body chemistry and better health. Interested in discovering more ways to create better body chemistry or need a little help getting your body chemistry on track? Visit our website at www.betterbodychemistry.com. Browse our library or enroll in one of our courses or programs. The advice is simple to follow and based on real science, not hype. Know someone who finds it hard to move more? Share this video with them to help them get moving more without moving. And if this is your first time here, be sure to subscribe to our channel so you catch future episodes of Better Body Chemistry TV. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Remember, small things can make a big difference to your health.